All right. We are live. We are live. Back like we never left. We already got some folks in the chat. We got Birdman. He said, let's go. Shout out to Birdman. We also got Fam in the chat. She says, hola, hola, hey. American flag with praise hands. So, yeah. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Welcome back to the Age of Men podcast. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Do hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, do hit subscribe and definitely chime with us as we have topics that we talk about. We love when you guys engage in conversation. Again, like this video, share this video. It definitely helps out the viewership and the algorithm. So appreciate you guys nonetheless. God bless you guys. Tonight's show is a very special one because it is Memorial Weekend and Memorial Day is tomorrow. We want to remember our fallen soldiers. I got a little feedback there. Nick,
dude, I'm always fucking up over here. My bad.
Nick, you're fired. So soon.
You know how Julius? You know how much Julius wishes he could do that at times. Like, I wish I could fire him.
Fired. No, if I fire Nick, he's gonna assume me that I fired him because he was white and he's gonna get $11 million, even though he was late 47 times. No. But yeah, so Memorial Weekend. Hopefully you guys are enjoying barbecue with your families. Going to the grave. I couldn't think of this cemetery, but I went to one when I was across the country. I believe it was in Virginia. I just can't think of the name. I totally blank out. But I went to one of the cemeteries when I was in Virginia, and I remember going and looking at all the graves, and I was just like, man, no one talks about this enough, where a lot of these people, it doesn't matter if they was white, black, liberal, Democrat, moderate, doesn't matter. They all fought and died so that we can be free today. And I think it's something that we don't acknowledge enough because we're fighting over petty things. I do it too. I'm guilty of it too. I'm always like, look at this black person over here. So it's the same thing. So, but I do want to, take a moment to just recognize those that did fight for this country, so that we can be free today. It's even though the war might have been, some might say it's unnecessary based on how it started and between who, but people still fought nonetheless. I think we should recognize that and also recognize those who are still serving for this country. So, appreciate you guys. God bless. Condolences. Special shout out to Soonie, and who's our guest, by the way. If you guys haven't noticed, we have a guest on the show. Not only is this person very well known, not only is this person very knowledgeable when it comes to politics, this person I met in 2021, off the bat, I already knew she was a great person. Again, very knowledgeable, very fun to have a conversation when we laugh about things. We don't cry about things because real men don't cry. If I cried, she would get on me. No, never live it down. So
Soonie would not be friends with us if we cried in front of her.
Yeah, I hold my tears back. When we go off the live, I cry and go, no, I'm just playing. But
when I get off the live, I go cry in my corner.
Every night.
I want to welcome our guest, I should say. I was going to say but our guest, sorry about that, Nick. Our guest tonight. Now, real quick, Soonie, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm having trouble with. Your last name, is it Blanks or is it Banks?
Blanks.
Okay, I always thought it was Banks because I had this idea of writing a rap song using your name as a metaphor, but I was like, man, it's not Blanks.
No, it's Blanks.
So now I do use it as a rap song. I gotta say, I was shooting blanks. No, I'm playing.
Hey, Julius.
Dude, people used to say that all the time growing up.
You also thought Layla Propaganda Fluent was Lila for however long too.
I know. I don't know why.
Lila? Oh my gosh. How has Propaganda Fluent been? I haven't heard from her.
I just went live with her yesterday. She reached out to me. She's been in touch. I was free from TikTok jail. Soonie, I had over 300 some people watching. So we're making waves over on TikTok.
Nice. I got to shoot myself over there one day.
Yeah, for sure. We went out there, partners in crime, taking over TikTok together.
She's been going live with Chad Jackson, and they had a great, fantastic live the other day. I like it a lot. I could tell that those two have a lot in common, intellectually and things like that. It was really cool. I like seeing her go live more often now, so it's pretty dope. I'm liking the fact that all of us who are on Instagram, we're doing these live streams. You and Mo, seeing Layla, seeing Chad doing his thing.
Yeah.
It's cool. Even my friend Anthony, Informant Anthony, he's doing his live streams now. I'm like, that's dope, man. We gotta get us new people into this space, you know.
Facts. It'll happen.
So, Soonie, thank you for being on. We appreciate you having you on. But we tried to get you on before.
Thanks for having me.
We got sometimes we shuffle through these cards, try to look through them, try to figure out who's our not playing. But no, nonetheless, appreciate you having you on. For the folks who don't know who you are, would you mind telling the folks kind of like who you are, what you're about, and what you do?
Controversy. It's like, no, let me stop.
No, for real, folks. It follows her. She's not about it, but it follows her.
No, I'm Soonie. I started out a very extreme Trump supporter. That was what my platform was about when I first came out. I would always drop hidden Black history facts. And then life just got real. January 6th, I don't want to say completely did a 180 because it wasn't just this complete 180. It was a plethora of things that had stacked up on top of each other, things that I was going through professionally. And I came out on the other side of it, just deciding that I would call out both sides. I wasn't just going to pick one side. I wasn't going to just side with women. I wasn't going to just side with men. I was going to do my best to be objective. This actually was inspired by my husband. There was a police case that I had been watching, and I was dead set on my opinion. And it didn't matter what he kept trying to bring up, very common sense things. And I was just not hearing it. And he was like, you're supposed to be objective in these situations. We're all supposed to remain objective. And I was just like, wow, okay. So I have to take this into all my arguments. And then here comes controversy.
Yeah, right.
There is controversy in being objective. I would have never thought that, but here I am.
Hell of a lot of it, apparently, because Soonie gets controversy like nobody's business. And she's the most objective person I know out here. And I've known her for a couple of years now. I'm proud to call her an internet friend for what it's worth. She's a real one, man. And man, does she get some smoke. I get a lot of smoke, but she gets some smoke. Julius gets a lot of smoke, but she gets some smoke.
I don't get smoke. I get missed.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, mist from the moist guys. Remember Mitch would always say
Actually, Soonie, you remind me of my friend Denise. She's with Freedom Angels, and she actually got into this whole vaccine stuff because her husband opened Pandora's box for her, and I don't know if she was I don't know if she had a different perspective about it, if she was like very pro, but when he showed her like what was in the vaccine, it just opened her eyes up, and she realized that these mandates were not good for children. So, and she has kids, so when she started to see the politicians with these mandates and realizing, hold on, why does my kid have to get a vaccine? That should be my choice.
Yeah,
it opened up her eyes, and then she started going down to the Capitol, lobbying, talking to people, and she said,
"That's amazing, dude."
A whole bunch of mess. So now she's been fighting the fights in 2019. She even got arrested one time at the Capitol by protesting. So
that's dope. I love hearing that, especially when it's inspired by your husband's. Like, listen to your husbands. You might think they're wrong, and then because it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that I was no longer being objective, or else I would probably still just be placating all of my content towards Republicans and condemning Democrats.
Wow.
I would be far bigger than what I am now. I can say that for certain. My platform would be huge if I would have stayed on the course that I was on.
So let me just say that about you as a friend. That's another thing I really respect and commend about you so much is I've watched you time and again sacrifice easy followers or whatever you can have, reputation, all that shit for your integrity. And I really, really respect that about you. Like, you've done that. I don't know how many accounts she's had on Instagram, folks, because she's white. Like, it's crazy. But she keeps coming back. She's like a whack-a-mole. She keeps popping up when they're trying to put her down.
I appreciate that. And thanks for having me on, by the way. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And Julius, do you mind if I ask her real quick a quote that I remember her saying something about, like, her and her husband's relationship? Do you mind if I ask her real quick?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we try to work a way to get you on, and I think everything happens for a reason. And I think asking you to come on now is perfect because Memorial Day things, especially you had the flag in the background. I got this in the background. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, everything happens for a reason. So yeah, so we
imagine there's one back here.
Oh, we see it. We see it.
We see it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
Soonie, and you know, if I'm not exactly remembering how you said this right, uh, let me know because this was a while ago. I don't know if you'll even remember having said it, but it was one time really struck with me. You said men need to know they own something to truly love it, in the sense that men only really care about what they possess, and they really care about that stuff. They, for instance, your husband, his car is totally clean. He keeps it spotless. He has a little place on where his dresser is and whatnot, where you just shouldn't touch that because he keeps things orderly. He needs things neat. And
Yeah,
if you remember that at all, could you speak on that?
I do remember that. I said men don't love anything they don't possess, and it's because they don't. A rental car, while it's in their possession, they only take care of it but so much. They're not going to go out of their way to vacuum it out, to detail it, to put a tree scent in the car. You know, you don't want your kids bringing their crap into the car. It's their possession. They take care of it. They wax it. These are things I watch my husband do. His golf clubs. It's his possession. He makes sure his golf clubs has the best of everything. He doesn't allow wear and tear on them. He takes care of it. And that's how it is with their wives and their children. We are their possession at the end of the day. They brand us with their last name. We move into their homes. We take care of their children. It's their seed as to how we're even able to have children. So when I think of how men really love, they don't love you if they don't own and possess you. And with that possession comes influence. They're going to want you to behave how they want you to behave. Like that's anyone, right? You want that as parents. I'm raising you to be a certain way. So this is how you need to be, or you don't get what you want in return. I just think it's a full circle way of looking at marriage. And I know a lot of people would say, well, that's extreme to say, well, he doesn't love what he doesn't possess, but it's facts. Men don't love
Hot
what they don't
take.
own.
Do you do you think there's a difference between possession and property? And I bring up property because Andrew says like she's my property, and women go, "What property? Oh hell!" You know what I mean? So they do a little, "Oh hell no!" So um real quick, we got Layla Gray to chat. So what up, Layla?
What up, Layla? How you doing?
So yeah, so do you think there is a difference between possession and property based on like again what Andrew Tate says and things like that? Is there a correlation, or are you talking about totally two like separate
I
things?
I think I think there is definitely correlation.
Because you mentioned
Um,
last name, that's why you said the
yeah,
whole
you can possess your possession, right? It's yours. It's in your possession because it's yours. So I do think that owning something means possessing it, which means property at the end of the day. Now, we're not literal property, right? We're going to use this in a very metaphorical sense of this is something your husband owns, so you are his property. But it gets into like this semantical argument and sometimes often philosophical for no reason because of feelings. Does this man love you? Yes. Okay. Does he own you at the end of the day? Do you follow his rules? Right, simple rules. Don't cheat on me. Raise my children. Have the house clean. Be nice. Be friendly. Are you following those rules? Okay, why? If he doesn't own you and you're not in his possession, why are you following those rules? Ask yourself that.
Okay, that's interesting. Because now I want to ask you, what about relationships like boyfriend and girlfriend? Right, when you're married, it's one thing because you take his last name, so it's got to be a balance. With relationships and boyfriend and girlfriend, should there be that same balance like in practice, or is it more like be caution but still find the balance of being together?
So in 2023, I would say yes, definitely approach with caution. Um, because when I was taught growing up, you date with a purpose. When you're dating someone, you have the intention of marrying them, not just this casual thing of you guys are together, you break up, you move on. And that's just how I looked at it. Now, looking at it now, people are more casual. So, no, I wouldn't advise young women or men to take that approach unless they meet someone with the same morals and viewpoints as them, then you can proceed to have very intentional dating and somewhat operate in a sense of a wifely role. I mean, you have to showcase that. You have to showcase it for him to even see if he wants to marry you, because what guy's going to marry someone if he doesn't know she could cook? Like, what do I get out of this? I need to know you're friendly. I need to know you're actually feminine. I need to know you work out. So these are all things that you need to do. You have to participate in life. Um, so I would say you do it with intention, with the right person, right? You have to have, what's the word? Discernment. You need to be able to judge a situation well, notice red flags, and if the math ain't mathing, and get up out of there, okay? And go date intentionally elsewhere. You're gonna have those moments where you get a dub. It just is what it is. I actually think it's more difficult to date in 23 than it was when we were dating as kids or teens and young adults.
It would seem that it has to be. I don't see more and more couples coming about that are going the distance. It's like less and less the older I get.
It's interesting. I may have to slightly disagree.
Yeah.
Only because, and not to disagree, to be like, I'm gonna get, like, I'm not saying no gotchas here. I'm saying that, like, when I go out into like when I go outside, if you will, and I go outside, I see people just being couples. Now, you do see, and I live in a predominantly like super liberal area. I mean, this whole city is blue. It's like it's crit blue out here. No, but it's
like
I
the sky blue.
Yeah. I'm telling you. I do see couples, and I can tell that they're living in kind of 50-50 relationship, and nobody's taking a lead. And so, to me, when I hear 50-50, I hear more of, I'm going to let my girlfriend lead too, and it takes away from the man actually kind of leading. So, but I will say that in 2020, I think it's really hard to date. Maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but it's because a lot of men look like women, to the point where you got to start asking questions, like all the resume questions. You got to start asking those things on the spot. Like, I'm gonna do a take from Nick. Nick was saying that, you talk to a man that looks like a woman, or woman looks like whatever you want to call it. Ask them questions that would trigger them, and that's how you know whether or not they are not.
Do I do that? I didn't know. I did that.
You had advised that one time. You were saying that, like, if you want to find out if she is a man, you ask a question that would trigger her, so you know what side of the aisle you're on. You know what I mean?
Right. I remember now.
Well, I mean, I have been out of the dating realm for a very long time, right? I haven't been there in a long time. You guys are in the market, but I really feel, and I'm gonna say feel here because this could be me appealing to some feelings, that the lifestyle that I am living should be something that is an example and replicated. Whether it exists 70 years ago, we're still replicating that nuclear family. I think we should continue. Now, people are going to continue with modifications. We can never get around that. The 50-50 household, it exists, right? So that's why I said you should approach these things with discernment now. Meaning you could date with intention, but yeah, the man needs to be showing that he can take care of you off top. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Women, you have to obviously show some wifely abilities. You have to.
Watch it.
Listen, the only way around this is discipline and order and respect. It's how it works.
Hey, Soonie, you just said some words right there that have been a theme for me lately. So, as far as like what is truly feminine, like what should we expect from women? As far as respect for a man, how important do you think that is on the hierarchy of needs for a man?
I think it's like the number one. It's number one. I think it's the most important. It's just men are men. Like, they're men. They're not us. Where they can exist in a world and somewhat feel less than and still operate. Because wives feel like that, especially housewives. But we have our husbands to say, no, you're not nothing. You're having my children. Look at my house. I'm happy. We have to be good enough with that. Versus them, they take a completely different role where men are going out into the world So there's a purpose for not emasculating men. We can't do that.
Wow.
So you have to respect him at home, or else how can he go out in the world and provide? That's just how I think of my household. My husband goes out every day. How can he go out and do that successfully, right? Bring home money, make important decisions, if I'm making it extremely hard at home to the point where he can't trust me to raise kids? Well, then he can't go out and perform. He just can't.
But if you're
So that's how I
if you're
look at
holding
it.
down the home front for him, he can go out and perform. He can slay dragons for you guys every day, and he'll happily wake up and do it again the next if he's got a good wife to make it to the home. That's something we can't buy with money. We can't. We can buy a lot of things with money if we're successful men. We cannot buy a good homemaking, stay-at-home mother like that. It's invaluable.
No. I think it's number one.
How do you keep that mindset? Like, how do you find that balance within your marriage as far as leading by example, as far as being a good wife? Like, how do you set that tone for other women out there?
It's knowing you're being watched. That's how I do it. My kids look at me, and I often look back at my childhood and stuff that I saw and how it affects me now. Do I want to replicate that? Or do I want something different for them? And I want it different for them. So knowing that I have someone watching, and I actually love my husband, like I respect him, I love him, I want to create an environment where everyone is good. Now, of course, we have our moments. Every couple does, where that sense of peace is just like, man, fuck that, you know? I get in my moments where I'm just not interested. But then I check myself and you say, no, actually, that was wrong. I shouldn't have handled it that way. And how do I handle it going forward and doing it better? I'm not perfect. I just self-reflect. I understand that I have a role and I understand my purpose. And like, unlike everyone else, I actually want to raise productive citizens of the US. I feel like that's my prize at the end of all this, is knowing that they grew up to do something great and they're not in jail. They're not out there doing drugs, and they're replicating what they saw us do, because I didn't have that.
Hey, real quick. Oh, go ahead, please.
No. So, okay, I have something that I want you to, based on what you're saying, I want you to react to something.
Okay.
Something that I saw on Twitter about, being that submissive wife. But Nick, go ahead and then we'll play the video.
Okay.
This is a quick one. I just want to hear your guys' take on this. Do you feel this is the case? And if so, tell us why. Women, in my experience, often have a hard time just doing what Soonie said, admitting they were wrong and just being like, you know what, that was fucked up with me, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I would easily forgive them in that situation, but instead they kind of like can't admit it. And I'm like, I caught you in a lie. Like, I don't really care. It's cute that you're trying to get me. You didn't. Let's get over it. Just say you're sorry and we'd be past. But then they double down. I can't tell you how many girls I've broken up with. I'm like, oh, I can't do with the gaslighting when I catch you doing something. And then you're going to double down and act like I'm the crazy one or something. That I can't work with. You just want to admit that you were wrong. They don't. They die on that hill sometimes.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to say because I didn't done that before.
I'm always trying to play out
that before. I mean, I guess I can speak to the female part of this as to why it would be a total excuse as to why, but it would offer some thought or some, like, I guess open the understanding of why women do this. So
yeah, hit us. That's what we want over here.
It's tough. Like, think of it this way. When you got in trouble as a kid, right? And you had to take ownership for that. And it feels like the most intense thing that's happening around you. And you're like, holy shit, bro, I'm in trouble. If they find out I did this, I'm in trouble. Wow. That's how it is for women. We're emotional beings. Yeah. And I learned this from counseling, by the way. So this is not just me up here bumping my lips. We immediately go into a fight or flight mode. It just is what it is. We go into a constant state or an instant state of panic. And the best thing for you to do to not have to deal with this panic that you're feeling is to just like default and just say,
deny.
to the fullest. Okay, because it's just too much to take responsibility for where you mess up. That's the true definition of being free. Seriously free is being able to own your shit. And it's hard to do that as a woman in a society where you're not taught to take accountability for anything, and you're
I was
able to
gonna,
use your femininity as an excuse. I will wholeheartedly admit that.
I was
Swear
just
to
gonna,
God.
so I was gonna bring this up to you because what Nick was talking about. I was gonna say, do you think that the reason why we have these gaslight situations in these relationships is because in modern day, women are basically not even, I don't even want to say taught, but they're
Mhm.
treated like princesses.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no accountability because of how they're treated. Now there is a top form to it, but I think because they're treated like princesses, and then they, you always hear men don't hit women, be nice to
Mm-hmm.
women. It's always for what the men should do to women, but you don't really hear women being taught how to treat men.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. We're
So
not.
I want to show you this clip, and then we're gonna read the comments too. So Nick and I mean, just like you and Mo, we try to make it apparent to read comments. We don't want to leave you guys behind. It's the correct term, simplify, to not leave no man behind. Is that the correct term to say?
Simplify.
Okay,
Simplify
I'm not
those.
sure if you said it right. So my apologies for butchering that. If you guys want to, sorry for that. Salute to you guys. So here's this video. This is coming from Twitter. That was from TikTok, and this is a woman. Now, whether this is real or not, it's her still displaying what a submissive woman is, and a lot. There is actually, I would argue, mixed reviews when it comes to. So there are some people who didn't like it, some who did like it. So let me do this. I think I want to put this down here, and here is the video here. So I'll play this. Sorry, I'm pretty a little bit slow.
This is crazy. I'm sorry. I
So
was just reading the caption.
yeah, not that, but that's something else. So yeah, no, not that one. Actually, that's actually something that I'm gonna talk about on my show. It's something about unraveling the unconsciousness, feminist desire to be dominated. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So I want to read that whole thing. That guy Underlord has really great stuff. So I see a lot on Twitter, guys. So I'm not like just looking at, oh my god, boobs. So don't think that at all. But I just saw that was interesting. I read the whole thing. Interesting stuff. So here's that video. So my video being really slow, but it is what it is. I'm trying to see why it's being so slow. Maybe if I cancel this out.
And you just want us to see it without any context? Just hit us?
No. I'm gonna play. It's gonna play right now. It's just acting really, really slow. It does that.
What is up with that caption though? To avoid misunderstandings, you mean getting beat, right? What? I'm scared.
Okay, yeah. So real quick, that person who posted that was against this video because their thing was, again, to avoid misunderstandings, you mean getting beat. This is what I'm going to talk about. So let me show you what the video is, and then we'll read some of the comments. I'll show you how it's a mixed bag. So here's that video here. Hopefully you guys can hear it. You know what? I'm gonna mute the video because it should be fine. We're not monetized, so it's fine. It's fine. All right, so I will pause in between because first it says how I submit to my husband. First one says I don't nag. This includes how he's driving, what he is wearing, etc.
Yeah.
Then she says I always use a respectful tone of voice and soften my words to avoid misunderstandings.
I like that too.
Crystal silence, see the lights break through.
It says I yield spiritual leadership to him, i.e., he leads prayers.
Cause into sleep, I'm thinking about that view. I'm drinking coffee cause it tastes like.
And it says I don't police his diet. I don't tell him he needs to eat a certain way. This goes back to nagging.
Reminds me of the things we used to do. Won't you come and take me by the hand? Tell me about your.
She says I stay healthy. Line back a little bit. She says I stay healthy and in shape and take care of my hygiene.
Tell me about your hobbies and
she says I don't overspend or burden him by asking for things outside of our budget.
your favorite bands. I get your caffeine online.
I always greet him with a calm demeanor and listen to him first before telling him about my day.
When you start, you gave me energy.
And that was it. So, what do you guys' thoughts on that? Just real quick. When you guys see that, what's your thoughts on that?
Ladies first.
Um,
A lot there.
I don't agree on the policing diet. We literally cook what they eat. So yeah, we're gonna infuse some more vegetables if necessary, especially if we've been like eating out and all that.
Did I say that she police or she doesn't police?
She doesn't
She
police,
doesn't.
and
But
I'm
Sooney's
saying
like,
yes, we
Okay.
do. Stop lying. um,
Ashley's cooking broccolis, right? I don't
right.
police his diet, but eat these broccolis.
I don't know if I agree with the always speaking in a calm tone. Don't feel like that's really realistic. You get into heated discussions. And I don't think if you don't do that, you're not necessarily a submissive woman. Because everybody communicates different. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
everything else on there, I didn't disagree with. Don't nag. I don't necessarily, unless my husband asks me about my day, I don't like walk up and volunteer it. I don't really do that. When he
interesting.
comes home, he likes to play the game or just relax on the weekends. I don't nag and say, "Hey, let's go outside. Let's go do this." I may ask. And sometimes he'll ask me first, like, "Okay, what are our plans this weekend?" And if I don't vocalize anything, then he goes to chill to play the game. Just let him play the game. So those are
And
the things
Sooney's,
that most of what she said I agree with, except for the like tone always being this and not policing the diet.
the tone thing is interesting. Well, before that though, I remember you once saying, I think your husband, like after a hard day's work, you don't want to nag him with things when he first comes in the door. Like let him decompress playing the game or whatever he likes to do for a little while. Then eventually he'll come up and give you a kiss on the head, or
Yeah.
and you guys will like sort through your issues. But it works much better with that approach than if you just hit him with everything coming in.
Yeah. I don't know. I think of myself. Like when the kids come home and you're bombarded and they're like, "Mom, mom, 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 mom." Yeah, I don't do that. No.
So basically, what you're saying is, don't open the door on a windy day.
No.
Nope.
No.
So I want to go to some of the comments. We won't spend too much time. I just want to go to some of the comments real quick. So I'm trying to do it this way here. Maybe I should do it like this, and hopefully it'll be better like that. Okay. So again, I think this was a mixed bag as far as some who agreed and some who disagreed. So again, you read that comment right here where it said to avoid misunderstandings, you mean getting beat. Real quick, I want to talk about that. Why do you think that somebody would say to avoid misunderstandings, you mean getting beat? Why is it that when a woman is submissive to her man, people think it's like, oh, you're submissive, so he won't beat the crap out of you? Like, why do you think that's the first thing people go to is the most extreme, or they go towards violence? Like, is there a reason why women would go towards, maybe men too, why people in general go towards violence when they hear being submissive to their man?
Bring us full screen, please.
Because of propaganda.
looks.
Shout out to Propaganda Fluent, by the way.
Yeah.
It's called the Duluth. It's either like the Duluth model or theory, and it's something that's been pushed all throughout society for hundreds of years of men being violent, just inherently violent, inherently domestic abusers, just having this inherent aggression towards women. So it's like, keep your mouth shut, do what you're told, and he won't get frustrated and hit you, type of thing. That's what comes to my mind when I read that, right? Because we are talking about these women. She's dressed like can I swear on here?
Yeah. Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. She's dressed like a
Fire
fucking
away.
Stepford wife, first of all. Okay. You're dressed like those women that probably did get their ass beat and like slapped around. Be realistic.
Like in
Always
Rosewood?
speaking, right. Always speaking in this very calm tone. No, ma'am.
I'm sorry. So
Stop.
you know what I'm talking about when I say Rosewood. It's like it was a nigga. Sorry, I had to bring it up.
But come on, like, can
Um,
we be honest? Can we be honest about it?
Somebody has
so
to.
I'm gonna say, yeah, okay. You gotta admit there is a trend of TikTok, the trad wife things, and they are dressed in a certain
Exactly.
way. Like they look like those females you would see on like an old oatmeal box. You know what I
They
mean?
look like that hot chick from Bewitched.
Yeah, exactly. The whole Nick at Night type of shows. Yeah. There is
See,
that, but
she made my point. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Layla just made my point.
she said right here, marriage is
Yep.
slavery, grown out, blue haired lib.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't understand. So matter of fact, my friend made this point. She said that women by themselves, when they're single, right? They're already like when they live on their own, they're already cooking for themselves. They already kind of had to clean their house. And I was like, that makes sense. So I'm thinking, what would be so wrong in doing that for somebody that you're with? If you already clean your own house, make your own food, what's wrong with making that sandwich and split it in half? What's wrong with that? I don't understand. But to me, I think that's the problem with society today, is that I really do think that social media, I mean, yes, it starts in the home, definitely starts in the home, but in the home, these kids have cell phones and they're watching these TikToks all day long. And on these TikToks,
Yeah.
they're being shown the worst of the worst. TikTok is not sending their best. They're bringing crime. But they're not, though. At least TikTok in America, they're not sending their best. And so these kids are watching, these videos saying that marriage is, and you gotta think too. It's something that I don't really think about as much, but I'm starting to think about it now. Is that in the home they really are watching these influencers who have like hundreds of thousands of followers, if not millions of followers, and they're telling these people that if you get married to a man, it's slavery because he wants you to be quiet and this and that. These conservatives. To me, I really don't think people live like that. I mean, I met so many people in my life that I never seen a woman just go. You know what I mean? Like she looked like she was like blink twice if you need help. She wasn't like one of those women. I've seen people just be naturally submissive to their, especially when I was doing lifts. I met a couple. I met a wife who was so submissive to her husband. Like he barely talked. He was super shy, but you could tell that he led the way because the way he carried himself. He carried himself as like this man. Like, this is my wife. I have my family. I take care of them. We're just using Lyft to preserve, using our gas kind of thing. And you could tell she was so in love with him. So I don't know in what reality these women live in where they're just being quiet, because even the trad wives, like the trad conservative women, even they're online talking a lot, talking about being submissive, but they're online. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I don't want to say names, but there's this woman that claimed to be conservative, but yet she's doing everything that the man does. And it's like, well, it's okay to have a voice. There's no reality where a man really wants you to shut the F up. Like, you want to talk to your wife about something. I don't know why people think this is the reality. It's
you want her to be happy, but and there's another side of that too that Layla's bringing up. Before we do that, Joyce, just so we can get this dude out of there, he's like filling up the chat. There's that troll.
Yeah. Wait, there's a troll in the chat?
Yeah, you'll see. Loser out there filling it up.
Is it Berghow?
Yeah, it's Beta Rastupel, Berghill Stupel. Beta male. Like, go
look.
Go get your own thing going on there, Brad. Like, we don't need you know what I mean? Like, what is people?
Yeah, we'll take this time and read some comments, man. Y'all tripping.
Good look.
Us, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't want to smoke with Soonie. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
No,
Soonie, bro. You smoke with Soonie, she gonna burn you alive. So
I'll sit here and eat my popcorn if she decides to take your ass to court. But
just block it. We're having a great show. Just block it.
Yeah.
So here's one of the comments where Layla said, off of what you were just saying, the topic, that we should talk about the trad wife fetish. You guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to go through the comments. Because I have noticed that a lot. I'm not gonna lie, Soonie. I've noticed that a lot where I see a girl wear that specific outfit. I don't think girls today are really wearing those outfits. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe they are, but it's more a costume than it is an act. Because it's like, come on, we're in modern day. You can wear regular clothes. Like, it's okay to wear a t-shirt with like a logo on it. It's okay. It's all right. So what I'll do is I'll read the most recent comment and work our way up to what was said earlier. So we'll start with Grace. And Grace said, marriage is a covenant between your spouse and God. Definitely not slavery. It's dying to yourself to love someone else. If both people take it seriously, it's absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
I agree. Yeah, I ain't fighting with that one. I don't hit women unless they hit me. No. Birdman said, "Oh, he said some of this troll. Yeah, I don't know who this. I don't know who this person. Hey, you know what though? Troll or not? Hey, you're in this chat and you're keeping the conversation.
You're helping us in the algorithm.
No. That's don't support Trump. That's don't support Trump. Please block that.
Oh,
that's not a random
loser.
troll.
No, we got a real loser in the audience, folks. So this is an honor.
Yeah,
the biggest loser of them all, arguably.
Jesus,
that loser's been losing for a minute.
Who does
that?
He said, "Don't support Trump." I just laugh. I used to see all his comments on my stuff.
Dude, the definition of loser. When you look up loser in the dictionary, don't support Trump's picture comes up.
That's not the first. Liddell says, "Great show. Appreciate you, Liddell. Always honored to have you here." Layla says, "You should talk about the trad wife fetish." Now let's talk about that. Now, Soonie, you agree that there's a fetish, like there's this trend going on where they're like wearing these certain outfits, sleeping this certain way. I mean, yeah, there is
this. I don't know. I mean, is it a fetish? Is it a fetish? Like, are guys really into that, or is it just a fad? Because when you say fetish, that makes me think like there's a bunch of dudes out here that are looking for that specifically, and it's a fetish, or is it just a fad that women are going through, which is a very weird fad. It's 2023. Like, get real with yourself. Trying to listen. Real wives wear t-shirts, ball caps, and pajama pants, bro. Stop the cap.
Represent.
So he describes himself. It's like real wives wear a cap with this shirt, with the flag right here.
Whole curly bun going on in the background. Stop it.
Hey, real wives got Scarface in the back. You know what I'm trying to say? So don't knock Scarface, man. I'm telling you. You know, I watched that movie when I was an adult. I didn't see it like obviously way back then, but I didn't see it at a young age. I saw it like way later on. The whole Scarface thing, I was like, I didn't know what it was. I was like, what's that? And then everybody kept saying, "Oh, my little friend." I was like, what are you talking about?
Girls.
So then I finally saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, Layla said the women like it.
Wow.
Get off on
Layla would have to educate me on this subject because I've seen the trad wife hashtag. I've seen the whole, I know it's a trend, but I don't follow any of those women. There would be nothing for me to gain from watching that shit. Outside of maybe if they had a dope recipe that I wanted to watch. Like, I don't relate to that.
Yeah.
It's 2023. I'm gonna keep saying that. I do not relate to that. Sorry. I don't want to be in anybody's bonnet.
I would love to see you and Layla do a live stream. That will be off the chain.
Dude, we gotta get them on the Age of Men for sure.
Yeah.
I love Layla.
I mean, you guys would like hit it off. I can see you guys just making constant jokes back and forth. I'm down for it.
I've had them in a few lives on Instagram. Shout out to our Instagram fans.
Yeah. You know what, Soonie? Real quick, I missed 2021. I missed our lives in 2021. Those were lit.
Our lives were popping.
Yeah, it was fun.
We should tell people that's how we all kind of came together. And I'll just say from my perspective, it's kind of like, not to be dramatic, but it's kind of like surreal right now because when I stumbled into the Instagram live scene, I guess, I saw both of you guys as seriously like rising star potential. Not kidding. No exaggeration. And like I was always like, God, I'd be more than eager to work with either one of them if they ever showed me the time of day. And now we're all out here working together, and it's pretty cool.
That's dope. That is dope. I never even knew you thought that.
Yeah.
You know, like when people say that, bro, it's so weird. Like when someone says, "Yo, I'm getting the opportunity to work with you." I've said that to so many people. Like, thank you. Seriously, especially when I was coming up, like, yo, thank you. Thanks for doing content with me. And then to have people say that to me is like, it's so fucking weird. I swear.
Soonie, you were
feel
the
like
first
that
one
at
that brought
all.
me on. You brought me on Instagram Live for the first time. I was the first live
I
with you.
remember bringing you on, dude. I went at Nick. Soonie was gunning down people with logic. It was fun. It was
It was
fun. You
what's
know
the thing?
what? I went at Nick because he was in my comment section, just going on and on and on about trafficking, child trafficking, and I brought him on, and I said, "What are you gonna do about it right now?" And he was like, "Well, so we could start with public humiliation." And I'm like, "And who's doing it?" I grilled the shit out of him, bro. I was like, "Unless you got real world like plans to do this shit, get out of here with that, bro." And he never left. That's the crazy part about it, is he came back. I have respect for him after that. I was like, I
Well,
brought you
hence what
another
I'm doing
one.
out here in the Discord. I'm starting the army.
I know. It's crazy how much your C3 brand has grown. I remember when you barely had followers.
That's what's
Wasn't
up.
that I
Amazing.
got my counter race too when it was growing pretty big, and it was a live that you and I and my buddy, my doctor friend, did in Angel, just exposing like the New World Order and stuff. Later
Really?
that night.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, 2021 was definitely lit, and I believe that golden era of people are gonna have massive platforms. It's only right. The way the world is going, people are going to want to listen to more objective people, not people who placate and do the Republican Democrat shit. I'm telling you, mark
I
my
agree.
words.
I agree. I've been saying the same thing. We're starting the revolution.
He said I'm unalived by that response.
Did we never had any disagreements, you and I, when I first met you, right? So I think we always did off pretty good.
We did. We disagreed on it was something politically related. This was back when, dang, this is when my platform was huge, when we were rallying for California and the recall. Before the recall even triggered, there was something that we disagreed on politically, but it wasn't like anything big. We just disagreed on it. But it's like it is now. I don't agree with you, whatever. Who cares? Just move on.
Yeah, that one thing I will say with Sony is that when we did have disagreements, we never like fought and nothing like that. It was just like I was always like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that."
That's what it is. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Because
I
like,
did look. I made Julius tap out in the Discord though. I was asking him them hard questions, and he was like, "You know what? I got to think about this and come back."
when was that?
When we were debating masculinity, and I asked you 2 questions. The first one you answered, and then I was like, I got him. I asked you the second question, and I knew you were gonna stumble, and you did. You tapped out. He was like, I'm gonna come back and let you know. And you still
Hey, I
came
think I get my
back.
mom calling, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have my moments in Discord, and one time I had to rage quit, and it was not a good look.
I did see. I was there. I witnessed the rage quit. As soon as I came in, he was like, he asked the question and they answered, and he was like, doop, disconnect.
Bro, I don't even think it was a rage quit. Julius to me is aside from Soonie, who like I would say she kind of puts her she's up for the controversy. She's up for the smoke. Julius is just like the chillest, like most decent dude I know, and somehow he gets the world just coming at him. Like everybody's always picking him apart, and I just like I don't understand, and I don't think it was rage quitting. And if it was, like poor
No, he
Julius,
rage quit. I ain't even gonna clap. He
No,
rage
I
quit.
get it. Yeah,
I would
did.
too in that situation.
And mind you, and what's funny is I don't get too much on that because I want to focus more on Sunni. But
Yeah.
I only rage quit because it was just the question was going in circles to a point where I was like there is an inconsistency, and I called out the inconsistency, and just the goalpost got moved, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm out. It's like I'm out. No?
Hey, that'll do it.
I was that black dude meme. I said peace now, it disappeared.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julius.
That's
so somebody said he's a runner, he's a track star.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you. I
see you, bro. That's who he was debating.
So what I was gonna say,
What
Nick, Yeah, you had
Oh,
a
go ahead.
question. No, you had a
Sure.
question you wanted to ask me that I wanted to kind of touch on. It was about the LGBT, and if you don't mind me bringing that up to Suni.
No, go.
So Nick had a question that I actually tweeted out before I even
Yeah.
knew Nick has this question. So I asked on Twitter. I said, "Why do homosexuals get a whole month, but the ones who fought and died for the U.S. soldiers who fought and died for this country get a day? They get Memorial Day. They get Veterans Day. We do Black History Month. We do International Women's Month, but
Mhm.
yet for our vets, we only do a day."
Mhm.
And I guess my question is, do you think it's possible to recognize vets through legislation?
Do I think it's possible? Sure, it's possible to legislate that. I don't think it should have to be legislated. So
Hmm.
that's the crazy part about it. Is I think veterans are having the same outcomes, and this I just finished talking about this on my live, but they're having the same outcomes as the Black community. They don't offer enough value, and I'm not saying that to say that they're not valuable and they don't offer value. I'm saying they don't offer enough value to these people. There's not anything in it for them outside of I'm going to highlight you every 2 to 4 years, make it seem like I'm doing something, and then go right back to not doing anything. Specifically because number one, Americans don't care about veterans. Can we just keep it a stack and stop that lie, making it seem like it's just the government? Americans don't care about veterans. So when you offer nothing in the political realm, you get nothing. It's just what it is. It'll never happen because nobody's advocating for it to truly happen. They're not. They won't even fight for veterans to have proper health care, to fix what's going on at the VA. All these people waiting 5, 6, 7, 8 months for referrals. Like, this is real. Where is the legislation to fix that?
Yeah.
I don't find it to be realistic.
I heard a stat the other day that said, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it was like 15 veterans a day commit suicide.
Mm.
Wow.
Insane. That's an insane number. That made me sick to my stomach that we just don't even consider them on that level, that magnitude that's happening.
That is crazy.
You know, speaking of, the Marine rapper posted something on Instagram. I think it was today, and he was talking about suicide. I don't know if it was specific to veterans, but he was basically saying that he's seen comments where people say suicide is a coward's way out. He wanted to ask the people, is suicide cowardice or is it justified? And that's the question I want to kind of throw to you, Suni, is that veterans who may be experiencing PTSD and who do commit suicide,
Mm-hmm.
is it cowardice or is it justified?
It's a deep question, man. Holy hell.
I think that's a very nuanced discussion. It would require a very subjective answer because everyone is not doing it for the same reasons. Although I find the act, and I'm not going to lie here, I find the act to be very cowardice. Yes. I can understand why someone would do it in specific cases. I know people who are suffering PTSD. I have an uncle. He's got it really bad. It's almost as if a lot of these people are expressing misery from simply existing, and while they're miserable, they want to torment other people. And I'm not saying that this is every one of them, but this is an example of that type of behavior. I would find what he's doing to be, if that were to happen, I would find cowardice in that.
Mm.
But if you're actually just struggling, you can't function. How can I judge you? Especially when there's no resource for mental health in this country. There's no resource in the VA for mental health. They just put them on pharmaceutical meds. They're either going to end up dead or in jail or
Yeah.
homeless. So while I do think the act is cowardice, I think I can have some understanding of why vets would do that. And I don't think that it's a mistake that 22 a day kill themselves. That's showing this country that there's an issue. That's a lot of people
That's insane. I can't even do the
from
quick
such
math
a
on how many.
small minority of people in this country who actually serve.
Think of a year, 365 times 15. I can't even do that quick math in my head. That's tens of thousands of veterans committing suicide every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an answer, to be honest with you, because again, I don't know what people go through. I mean, for veterans, I can't speak on it, but for the average person, I mean, I don't talk about this at all, like at all. But I've been at my lowest before, so I kind of understand why people get to that point. But for me, when I understood about forgiveness, that's what got me away from that darkness, to be able to forgive. Because I had to look around. Like I just remember sitting in my house and I was just like, oh, I'm so sad because of life. And then all of a sudden I like go on YouTube. Like you know what I'm saying? I was like, why am I depressed? And here I am logging on YouTube when there's somebody out there who don't even got a Mac computer. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's the materialistic that should make you happy. I'm saying that here I am with actual resources right in front of me, and I'm over here depressed about life when I have literally resource and my phone at the time. So how am I going to sit here and complain? I got a phone here, a computer here, there's a fridge with food in it, and I'm like sad about life. To me, that told me that showed me that it was more about validation than it was about anything else, because I need to be validated in some way, shape, or form. So that's why I was like, what causes that? And once I learned that, and then I went to forgive, I mean, it totally changed my life. So for the average person, I think there's always a way out. But for veterans, it's a totally different thing because of what they experience, the things they see. Maybe it's the same for people, for the average person too, as well. But that's why I can't really speak on the veteran issue, because I don't know what they experience, and I think that's a lot for somebody to handle, especially when there's no support. I was watching The View, and there was Colin Noor, the guy who's very pro Second Amendment, was talking about The View, and they were talking about what state was that? I forget what state it was, but some state in the country that's like really good with their gun crime and things like that. It's like the safest in the country. And when the governor talked about getting more help with mental health, the audience didn't clap. But then when Whoopi says, "Why not ban those guns?" the audience clap. I'm like, so you're not going to clap for the fact that the governor said he wants to get more help with mental health. You don't clap for that, but you clap when they say ban guns. It's like on cue. So that's why I get what you mean, Soonie, is that we overlook the mental health, especially when it comes to veterans. I think that we should start advocating for that. Matter of fact, just on Twitter today, I see lots of people talking about Trump, DeSantis, and this and that, the Target, the Bud Light. I'm tweeting about the 13 soldiers for Afghanistan. It's Memorial Weekend, so I'm going to tweet everything I can about our U.S. soldiers, the ones who fallen, the ones who are still serving. That should be the focus right now. Because why not celebrate that? We're in that space. Why not celebrate that? Instead, we're fighting about Trump and DeSantis. We're fighting about Target. And I just don't see a point. I mean,
that's why I said Americans don't care about veterans. It's a Memorial Day is a day off for the majority of Americans.
Yeah.
If Americans don't care, politicians don't have to care. They don't.
I think most Americans aren't even aware that this is not just a holiday for the armed forces. It's especially for those who made the ultimate sacrifice for us to have the freedom of this country, the ones that are dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the ones that are dying in the streets every day, homeless and killing themselves 15, 16, 22 times a day. Every day. That's an epidemic. That's sickening. When you consider the stuff that they did to, whether the war could be justified or not, it doesn't matter because they signed up with the intent of serving a good cause in our country. They did it nobly. It doesn't matter how unjust a war might be or whatever you want to claim. That doesn't matter. These guys put themselves on the line for this country, and then when they come home, they don't even have the resources or the wherewithal or the want to survive. And they're just left on the streets to die until they find a way to fucking end it.
Yeah. My brother's in the military right now. And I pray every day, for his safety, because that one day he has to really do that mission, especially in today's climate with Biden as the president. His administration sucks when it comes to our U.S. military. we've gotten more gayer than ever. So I believe, isn't it is it the lead general that's like he's gay or something like that? Isn't it that one white dude? He always
Right.
gets that meme made fun of him where he has the all the trans stuff, and I forget who he is, but he's in the back.
Oh, you're talking about Richard,
Yeah,
Rachel something, whatever.
no, not him, but there's this other guy too. It's him as well, but it's the other guy. I
Oh, I
forget his
don't know
name.
that.
But I forget his name. But I've
It's the other
seen
guy girl thing, whatever.
He said a
Yeah,
guy
well, I
girl thing,
mean,
whatever.
yeah, it just seems like our military is just becoming a lot more gayer and a lot more.
Well, that's how they look. It's like the you're the host and the LGBTQ is the parasite. They're going and latching themselves on to a bunch of different hosts and gaining so much power. They co-opted the Civil Rights Act. They're co-opting military service members now. They're co-opting everything. Everything.
Bro, they
This is
co-opted
how-
the LGB. The
This is
lesbian
how
gays.
anything becomes valuable in this country because of BlackRock, Vanguard, all these groups. They're attached to these huge conglomerates at the top, such as the WHO, the UN. They're all pushing these 17 sustainable development goals. Corporations are being forced to adhere to this woke agenda, or you don't get to participate. So when I said there's no value, I'm not just saying that. It's
Right.
about money. They
Right.
don't care about anything else. How do I make money? How do I market this? How do we push more social issues? How do we keep generating money in this country? Because it's essentially a corporation,
Literally.
corporatism, whatever you want to call it, aristocracy. Put whatever label you want to smack on it. That's what we're experiencing.
I noticed that too. When I go to, I see certain companies, you see those flyers at the front of the window, and it's like it's a specific person they gotta put in the front. The person may have blue hair, it's a black woman. You know what I mean? Like it's the imagery that makes you go, oh, I can do that too. Oh yeah, I identify as that too. But you won't see like a masculine man on the front. You won't see that. You just don't.
Nope.
It's a wild time we're living in. Sometimes I do. I mean, I talk about it a lot even on my live stream, but there are times when I'm done with my live stream, I want to just get back to reality. But then I think, man, is it really reality, or am I just going back to be the NPC?
It's not. See, you sound like Mo. Me and Mo have these conversations all the time, off camera, where she's like, I will present something like what I just told you, like, hey, dude, all these companies are being ran by 3 huge companies. Like, it just is what it is. Get on board. Why do you like knowing? Well, how do you prepare for the future if you don't know? Like, if you stay ignorant, how do you even prepare to have a fighting chance, to come up with some sort of strategy? How do you do that if you just remain ignorant? You can't. I want to know.
We need to know.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, and I don't mean by going back to reality, to just forget about everything. But I'm saying like there are times I just want to just be able to breathe to know everything. Like take that time to actually sit back rather than react to everything online. Start reading about why these companies are doing that. You know what I mean? Like there are times I want to take a whole month off for social media and just read a bunch of stuff. Like I want to read all the BlackRock stuff and the UN stuff. I want to take time. If you know their plan, then you really have knowledge on what's going on, because sometimes you have to read the enemy's playbook in order to know how to fight against it. So it's like most people who read the Communist Manifesto, they can tell you all about it. And it sounds like conspiracy to the left who never read the book. But it's like, no, this is all a Communist Manifesto. If you read Karl Marx and you read his book, you know exactly what he's talking about. Everything he says in the book is everything that's playing out right now. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I want to kind of just step away and just kind of just take time to read.
Well, I think they put stuff in in writings that they otherwise don't put out there because they realize nobody can be made to read anymore because video and audio stimuli is so compelling. Like it's literally addictive. And when I realized a couple years ago that I was addicted to it, like literally, when I realized I wasn't watching TV for like a couple weeks, I was like, oh, I wonder how how much I could save if I like canceled that on my cable. Just the thought of that. Oh, he did.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you are okay. Just the thought of that, like canceling the cable. Even though I hadn't watched it in weeks, it like gave me like a physiological, like addictive, like response. And I realized right then and there, like I'm hooked on this shit. And so I cut it out of my life, and now all I do is read, and it's never been better. I have no regrets. But yeah, I try to push people into reading it all the time, and they can't be bothered to do it because they're too hooked on like the stimulating stuff that reading's too boring, too demanding. You know, they have to like actually think about like the visual and all that. I don't know.
We need the old school pop-up books. So you have to the Communist Manifesto and turn it into a pop-up.
Communist Manifesto pop-up edition.
They need to put it in anime form. If they put all these, like if they made the best novels, like I think they should do one for the Bible too. I'm waiting for a Bible anime so we can sit down and watch it and then put it in front of your kids. This is propaganda. This is how they do it. They infuse their message into already known popular things.
Yeah.
Great idea.
If they did, do you guys follow the guy who does oversimplified world history? And he highlights the wars: French Revolution, World War II, World War One, Germany. Oh, you got to follow his channel. But he does an oversimplified, condensed version of things that would take you months to read, right? And his videos get millions of views, but it's accurate history.
Nice.
If we could do that and turn a lot of these novels into things like that, you would have smarter people in society. I really believe, especially if that stuff was on mainstream TV. Go follow his channel, by the way. Look it up. Oversimplified French Revolution.
Well, also too, I think that's something that, I agree with Layla on, is the propaganda from the right, because we don't make enough. I mean, we complain about like these movies and whatnot, right? These woke movies and this and that. I get it. We should uplift the movies that don't do that, but at the same time, I think conservatives should really just. I mean, all these big name people. I know conservatives made that movie with Gina Carano, that Western movie, but that's not. Look, it might have been a good movie, but that's not going to reach anybody because most people don't watch Westerns. Now, if that movie was like a Western of like communism trying to take over, something like that, and you did it right, it may be interesting, but we don't do stuff like that. Like for example, this is probably out of pocket what I'm going to say, but I always thought about doing a superhero movie, like making a superhero movie where the person gets powers and people, like somebody says, he has powers just like me. I see myself. And then the person goes to him and says, it's not about your color, kid. It's about character. Something like that in the movies. People go, oh, wow. And then they see how he uses his character. And that's why he's able to use his powers accordingly, because it's about character and not just, like me because I'm black with super strength or something like that. Right. I've always wanted to like combat the narrative that way. So all the things they try to, like, even for them, like a climate change movie, right? You can do a movie about climate change, but do it in a way where, these top elites are trying to, propaganda with, the ice is going to melt, we're all going to die, something like that. And you combat it with facts in the movie where it's like a mystery thriller type thing, and you solve the fact that people are trying to, lie to you. Something like a movie like that would be dope to do. We don't have enough of those. We just turn our brains off and go watch John Wick. I like John Wick. I'm just saying, we just turn our brains off and watch John Wick.
No, I agree with you. Conservatives do a lot of repurposing original content. There's not much original content coming out of conservatism. It's just not.
Yeah.
Conservatism isn't even very cool. Honestly, like liberals are much more cool to like the youth.
Yeah.
You see this comment right here? We had a Bible comic book for younger kids. Holly, and to Nick and Soonie, I actually had a Bible book when I was a kid. That was, as a child, I didn't understand like God or anything, but having that Bible book as a comic actually brought me closer because the way it looked, and I understood the stories because of the way it was like colorful. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I understood like God a whole lot more. That's crazy that Holly said that. She says, all we need is one movie with cool black people and hot white people realizing they actually love freedom. And I'm telling you,
I'd watch that.
Yeah. That would be and you can make it a comedy too. That would be a fucking hilarious.
Matter of fact,
Where
matter
they
of fact,
find out being moral was the right thing to do all along.
That's the
Yeah.
twist. That's the plot twist. I've been an asshole my whole life.
What?
yeah.
Wait a minute. Racism is. I don't have white privilege. Yo, can you imagine that? I would watch the shit out of that movie.
That would
Have
be
you guys ever
awesome.
seen Project X?
Project X.
It was that
Kristen
big party
Stewart.
movie. Basically, this movie about just big party essentially.
House
It's
party.
like,
You've been through.
yeah, like this big giant house party, right? Matter of
We need
fact,
to do that.
look, I would call it the white version of House Party. So, it really is. You think about it, it's the white version of House Party, right?
Yes.
It really is. So imagine a movie like that, but with both sides coming together.
Yeah.
And realizing like, wow, we're really not.
See, this is what I mean. This group of people, we've been putting out content for years, right? We get to see what works, what doesn't. I agree with Holly. This is a time for people to be coming together, like forging whatever type of working relationships and just like pounding content out, bro.
Yes.
You have to do it.
That's why I made my Discord.
I'm waiting for
that.
Layla, bro. Layla, I don't know what you're doing, but we need you over here.
We need you on our team for sure.
Yeah.
Look at us. How
Saying,
could you
Layla.
how could you
She
resist?
said, how could you just say no?
No, this reminds me of that scene from SpongeBob where Squidward's enemy showed up and he's like, "That's your band," and you see SpongeBob going.
Layla said she's too busy being a boss babe.
She's being a boss babe. Oh, snap. We need boss babes. Come on.
No, Layla had some genius ideas. Like when we were live yesterday, she said that she was just doing like super sarcastic stuff. It was hilarious. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just tired of these robots. I'm doing it to beat the algorithm. I'm saying what they want." And like they're not going to be able to sense the logic or the emotion. And I was like, "That's freaking brilliant."
Let's do it.
You know, I was going to say something about that earlier. You and Nick have gotten your Instagrams deleted and whatnot, banned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've had my Instagram since 2020. I've never once had it banned. And I've posted some stuff in the past. I was like, could have got me banned. I just don't
knock on
understand.
wood, man. What are you doing? You trying to jinx yourself?
I mean, it'd be a badge of honor. At this
He said
point,
a badge of
I haven't gotten my badge yet. It's like everybody's getting banned but me. I'm like, what, am I too nice? What's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Am I the political version of nice guy?
Julius is gonna be going out hard now to try to like get paid.
Oh, God.
No, I was
Please,
gonna say, but
please don't
my-
bring up pearly things.
I'm like, burn all the faggots. Like,
He's
like, what?
What?
just kidding, YouTube.
God.
He didn't mean that.
YouTube's like, we
One
got
day
him now.
we will-
Ban
Yeah.
him. Ray says, one day we will all realize we're human. By that time, I fear it'll be too late for some. You know, I will say this, though. There are movies out there that do kind of hint at what it's like today. I mean, you look at things like Ex Machina, Space Odyssey, iRobot, you know, all those things are starting to come to life. I mean, there are things out there. So I mean, the comment Birdman said, I've had one nuke page. Fam said I had a page nuke too. And then Layla says Julius wants to get banned. Hold on. Julius wants to get banned. Just like I don't get called coon. Telling you, we got to earn our badges out here, Layla. It's hard out here for a pimp. Birdman says I can't even go live on my new page. That's interesting. Sometimes too, if you comment certain things, the Instagram gets you in the comments. Like, let's say you comment, like the other day, I was in somebody's comment when Deontay was live. I said Fauci is evil, and they wouldn't even let me comment that. Instagram said that was they blocked me from commenting that. So
yeah, they'll block you from being able to comment on anything for like a little while. They're like, this feature is blocked to keep our community safe.
Yeah. When they do that though, I think enough time. That's why you can't go live. Because I noticed that whenever I do things in the comments and they make me change my my comment, I can't go live on Instagram. So if
you don't change it, you should change it every time unless you want to get a ban, because that means like we're trying to warn you, we're about to ban you.
Yeah.
Freaking Instagram.
Fam said 1,000 followers and boom, page gone. for calling someone a maggot.
Wait, I
Yeah,
have an idea. Someone gave me an idea in the chat. We should make a movie as like a sequel to Idiocracy to the people actually living in Idiocracy.
Wow.
I'm down with that. Idiocracy is a funny movie. I
Like-
like that movie a lot. It is hilarious. Terry Crews as president. I would vote for him any day.
But I see what you're saying, Soonie. Like a commentary on like today, like a satirical commentary on how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, like can you imagine? Like there just being a small minority of people like us with an actual brain. Like,
Never
in
would
this
have.
movie, dude.
Never would
Holy
have thought it.
shit.
Should we have it where, because the Idiocracy was him, what do you call that? Preserving his body, and then things got messed up. He ended up in like the far, far future.
Yeah.
So do we do something like that again, or do we bring this person from the future, bring him back to what he thinks is normal reality, but it's still the Idiocracy that led to where he ended up in?
I mean, you would be good at merging the storyline, right? It has to make sense. How
I love
these
movies like
people?
that.
Julius
I don't
is the
know.
movie guy. Julius is.
We have to talk about this offline. I think this would be freaking hilarious. I'm just saying. That would be hilarious.
Julius,
I
you got a
think
chubby right now for the movie. That got a nerd boner right now, don't you? Admit it.
Well, I mean, I mean, this ain't the only big and black thing you see right now. No, just kidding. No, I love stuff like that because I think that'd be a great story where he went to the future and it was like all a bunch of idiots. But imagine him going back to the past for normalcy or normalcy, and it's not that. It's what led to the future. I would love to see something like that. So, yeah, I think to do it in that way, I don't know. It'll be. It has to be a comedy for sure. Because the stuff people say these days, it's just insane. Like
The comedy writes itself. We don't even have to write the comedy. It's already just like right there.
Wait, he goes back and they're like, "What's your pronoun?" He's like, "My what?"
It's electrolytes. Gotta bring that joke back. It's
My what? My pronoun.
He gets mad at the guy for being in the bathroom that looks like a dude, but he's like, I identify as a woman. Like he beats his ass. Like, oh, I thought he was gonna be in here with the women or whatever. Like something like that. He gets arrested for it. Like, yo, no, they're allowed in here now, sir. What are you doing?
And he's got to bump into us so that we can save the world.
You know what we could do? We can do a parody with Captain America, where his body was frozen on ice, and he wakes up in 2023. And like he knows like the 50s everyone, but then he wakes up and he's surrounded by all these pronouns.
See, somebody needs to turn that into a skit right now. Waking up in 2023.
I love that idea.
After you've been in like a cryogenic sleep.
That's a great idea. I love it. Hey, I'm gonna jump out and send that link to Birdman to get him on, Julius. I'll be right back in.
Okay. Grace says, I'm 39. I've never had any social media. All boys aren't allowed to have it either until they're 18 or either at home. Base. I think that's pretty base. Honestly, I think the kids having social media now is horrible, especially with TikTok. Layla said that would be funny. Birdman laughing. We got K Train. K Train Soonie is actually somebody who's been following me since the convoy. He's a farmer, really great dude. Met him in person. Really solid dude. I always tell him, like Trump, I always go, we love our farmers, we love them cutting our food. So K-Train's always dope. Julius like Ty says you're black and slow. Yeah. I always say I'm black and slow. Deontay hates that.
That was fucking hilarious, bro.
Deontay hates when I say I'm black and slow. That's so
I'm like, it's just Jesse Lee Peterson.
I know, but he gets so mad I say it. Holly says, "Is that the movie where everyone wears Crocs? Was it in Idiocracy? Did everybody wear Crocs in that movie?
Crocs? I don't remember them wearing Crocs. I don't remember them wearing Crocs.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But I'm definitely down. But yeah, I mean, look, stuff like that will take time doing the writing because it's going to take time. It's going to take years to make because you got to write this and that. And it's not even just that. You got to get the writing crew, all that kind of stuff. Like, you got to get all the people on board. So I think it can still happen.
We can do it though because
yeah, exactly. Matter of
The
fact,
amount of resources and networking, it could definitely be done.
what are so okay? So let me segue to this real quick. So speaking of movies, I was talking to Soonie behind the scenes about this. And we were talking about the Little Mermaid. Now, Soonie, you and I had the conversation before about
Mhm.
race swapping characters, and we did slightly differ, but I understood where you was coming from.
Mhm.
Your point was that the race swapping shouldn't matter as long as they're the best person for the job because nobody complained about race swapping back in the day. And you are
Mhm.
right about that because there actually were movies, not even just a Brandy or Cinderella. There were, and not just The Wiz. There were other movies where people were race swap, and it didn't really matter. I'll give you a good example, um, more well known. Samuel L. Jackson played Nick Fury.
Yep.
We were fine with him, and I understand now why. I might have told you this before, but I'll say it again just in case I didn't. I think the reason why we were more accepting of the race swap before, because it wasn't jammed down our throats that they're doing it for representation. They weren't telling us that Samuel L. Jackson got the job because we need to represent black men. It was never like that. He was changing the comics. They brought him live action, and he did a fantastic job at playing Nick Fury. We like him. He's not in Marvel movies saying, "As a black man, I'm oppressed." Like he's not saying that in Marvel movies. So that's why we can get on board with it. I think nowadays, when you look at movies like The Little Mermaid, right? I just watched that. The biggest controversy was the fact that she was race swapped because it's not canon. It's not in the stories that was told, the novels and whatnot. So I did do a video about this before, and I was like, why don't they do Princess Tiana? And I actually was agreeing with Sunny, saying, okay, it's fine. They race swap. It is what it is, right? But then when you have these articles come out talking about, Halle Bailey talking about having young girls see themselves, I'm just like, I don't know if I can get on board with that. Then they changed the song, "Kiss the Girl" for consent reasons. Then they changed "Poor Unfortunate Souls" to not tell young girls that they shouldn't speak because men are around. Then they changed the ending, and I'm spoiling this right now. Spoilers for those who didn't see Little Mermaid. But in the end, it wasn't Eric who saved him and Ariel from Ursula. It was Ariel who saved her and Eric from Ursula. So to me, now that might be such a minute thing, right? You watch the movie, it's a minute thing. My problem is this: when you tweak even just songs, it changes the whole narrative. And this is one of the issues I think I have when movies do race swap or gender swap. The problem is that when you have articles like NBC talking about that black entrepreneur women should buy out 100 theaters, it just reminds me of Black Panther, where the woman was saying white people should give up their tickets to black people to watch Black Panther. But then you're losing sales. When that movie flops, you're gonna wonder why the audience didn't show up. So my problem with Little Mermaid is that I will say this: I think aesthetically, I think it looked fine. I think the CGI wasn't that bad. People said it'd be. It probably would do better at a more IMAX theater, or the 3D glasses when you guys go to the movies and watch the the what do you call it, the Theater X version, whatever you want to call it. I think it looks cool for that type of scope. But I think again, tweaking it out to where Ariel doesn't become a princess in the end. She did no crown, no tiara whatsoever. None of that stuff. She saved the guy. The kiss the girl was changed because of consensual reasons, because they made it seem like Eric forced himself on Ariel in the old one, when in reality it's the other way around. Go watch the scene. Ariel tried to kiss Eric. To not have Little Mermaid kind of fall in love with Eric, I just wonder why. Well, I don't wonder why, but it's just interesting. It's interesting to me how these movies play as strong female characters, but the man can't even be masculine anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, it seems like they've actually reversed the situation where the female is the hero and the male is the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
What's up, Birdman?
What's up,
What's up,
Birdman?
guys? I finally got it working.
Hey, man, let us be the first to say, well, let me be the first to say on this live, we really appreciate your service, bro. And I know that you probably have some some buddies that paid the ultimate price, and I can't even put it into words how much I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank you. We
I
appreciate you.
appreciate all your guys' support too. Rocking
Yeah, 100%.
your merch there, Soonie.
Oh,
I like it.
hold
I
on.
like
You
it.
So
gotta
am
say
I.
it louder,
So am
man.
I.
You gotta, if you gotta advertise that, bro. You gotta say, nah, Soonie,
So
I'm
am I.
rocking
I'm wearing
shirt.
Soonie merch too.
I showed it earlier, but we'll get it all on there. We'll get it all on.
Yeah, bro. Soonie makes
Hey.
dope merch, folks.
I
So,
love it.
Soonie, let the folks know what shirt Birdman is wearing and where can they get the shirts at.
That's the Mercy and Grace line that we came up with. You can go to our titmmerch.myshopify.com. We have some Father's Day gifts that we're adding up. We got some mugs that are coming out. And we're going to be dropping some sales for Father's Day gifts. So be on the lookout for that.
Nice. That's what's
Amazing.
up.
Nice.
That's dope. I gotta get me some gear too. I'm just trying to, gotta hustle over here. Hustle ain't easy, but it's fun. It's fun to hustle.
Can I respond to what you were saying about Ariel and all that Disney?
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's why I did not hop on the racial train, because it's too easy. It's very distracting for adults to get mad at a character being black. That was just ridiculous, bro. It doesn't matter what her character's color is. Julius was the one who pointed me in the direction of the lyrics changing. So I actually went to go read the new lyrics and found it more alarming that they were talking about consent. I even put a post up. I don't know if you guys remember this. And I was like, now you can be mad because it has nothing to do with race. You don't get mad about her being black, but you can get mad that these lyrics have changed, right? You can get mad that the women have a strong lead, just like they did the Matrix. They made Trinity the masculine dominant one who saves Neo at the end of the day. That's what people should be focused on. It's the feminist agenda that is being literally pushed through children's cartoons.
Yeah.
They took the warming parts of it out, where she becomes a princess at the end, because that's what all little girls want, right? To marry their prince and get taken off into the sunset. But now that's not the message anymore. Let's show women being strong, and let's show at the end of the day, they may or may not leave with the guy, but that's okay. They don't have to, as long as they have strength and they save him at the end of the day. To me, that gets totally looked over when all we talk about are her dreadlocks, how far apart her eyes are, the fact that she's black. Bro, come on. So it's a feminist movie.
I have to say something about this, and I'm going to spoil this too. I will say, I don't look. Halle Bailey, I thought she was fine as Ariel. I thought her acting was fine. She wasn't horribly bad. She didn't even try to push anything. There was no lines of dialogue. She was like, "I'm a woman, daddy." There was nothing like that. So I'm fine with that. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 only because they changed the lyrics. Her saving Eric in the end, not becoming the princess. But I will say this. There was a line in the movie that I felt was a little bit too on the nose. Maybe it's just me, but you guys know in the original, Ursula took her voice in order for her to become human for a certain amount of time, right? Same thing happened in this one. But in the end, the original version, her dad, gives her a hug, and the music's in the background, and she goes off as the princess. In this one, when her dad goes to her to send her off, she says, "Thanks for hearing me." And he goes, "You didn't have to give up your voice to be heard." I don't know, but that was just a little bit too on the nose about black women's voices need to be heard.
You're right.
You're right. Too on the nose for me.
She gives up the voice for a man and then gets it back when she doesn't go towards the man, bro. You didn't have to give up your voice to do this. I don't know. I agree with you saying it's too on the nose. It can have 1,000 different meanings.
Wait, what did she say? Or what did he say? You didn't have to give up your voice to be heard.
Yeah, so she got her voice taken away, just like it's in the original. When she got it back, her dad, King Triton, he sends her off, and she goes, "Thanks for hearing me." He goes, "You didn't have to give up your voice to be heard." I rolled my eyes so much, I was blind. I was like, "Oh my god." That was just too on the nose for me, man.
Awful.
I was like, come on. And then I had to go back to the original to see if that was like something that was said. Nah.
It wasn't.
She just gave
Nah.
her a hug and sent her off, had a tiara. Man, this one is like, that's why I had an issue with the Tinkerbell and Peter and Wendy. Same thing. Because her voice wasn't heard. And so when Wendy finally heard her, she's like, thanks for hearing me. I said, bruh, come on. We
Too
need
corny
black
for Julius.
voices to be heard. But nonetheless,
Yeah, bro.
I digress. So look, this is the last half hour of the show, and I really do want to hammer down on thanking, these soldiers, men and women who fought for this country. I think we owe them a ton of gratitude, and I want to say, thank you to Soonie's husband, and thank you to Soonie for being a supporting wife, to her husband, and thank you to Birdman. We really do appreciate it, man. I mean, my dad was in the military, and my brother is in the military right now. And we really do appreciate it. I think, again, we don't talk about this enough. And we got to start thanking our veterans, because I know when I'm out and about, I do this often. So this isn't cap. When I see somebody wearing a veteran's hat, I say thank you for your service. It might sound cliche. I don't know if it's doing too much, but I just do it because why not?
I do it every time I see him. Every time.
You can't do it too much.
Yeah. Those are the voices that need to be heard.
That's why
Nice, Jules. That's what we did there.
That's why I volunteer full time at the VA here up in Alaska. I like to give back to those that served before me and paved the way.
Yeah. So a question to you, Birdman, and to Soonie too, to both of you guys, everybody really. But do you guys think our military? Where do you see our military going in the future? Do you see it getting stronger, or do you see it becoming a lot more with this kind of wokeness, if you will? Do you see it going more toward that direction, or do you see people who, might go into it one way but then come out a totally different person? Like, where do you guys see it going?
So I have to make a disclaimer first, and these are my views only, not the views of the Air Force or the Department of Defense. So let me get that out there. I don't want to get in trouble for saying.
To be clear,
things,
FBI and everybody else listening, for the record.
These are my views and mine alone, but the direction we're going is definitely not a good one. And I'm telling you, if we happen to kick off a war right now, it would be pretty bad for us.
Really? Wow.
We would win. Obviously, we're America, but you'd have a lot of people changing their minds of how they want to act being in the military.
Hey.
Interesting.
I'm tired of saying it, because when I say it, I don't know what I'm talking about.
She's just a woman.
What do I know?
Yeah, we're getting a lot softer, and we're definitely we're going corporate. We're conforming to the civilian world. The civilians are usually, when you join, like when I joined, you had to conform to the military lifestyle. That's not how it is anymore. We're changing so many of our regulations now for all these people that it's just changing how the military is supposed to look and how we're supposed to be. We do not look like professionals anymore.
Look like a bunch of kids.
You got people that just look like dirtbags in their uniform. I mean, you got obese people in the military. You are not supposed to be obese and in the military. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Isn't that more of a liability than an asset as a soldier? A fat person that can't even freaking do athletics and whatnot. That's more of a liability. I would rather have none than have a fat soldier.
And it goes further on with health too. I mean, because they got to pay for that. I mean, if you're obese and you're out of shape, I mean, they got to pay for that. So they're going to end up. It's going to be a while, but they're going to realize that the shit isn't going to work, and they're going to have to change their ways. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later, but I retire in 3 years, so frankly, I don't care.
Shoot, I can't. I got about 10 more extra. We need to get rid of Lloyd Austin, okay? The military was bad, but it was not this bad. Lloyd Austin has to go. He has to go now. And the women that are in leadership need to go. Today. I'm just a spouse, and what do I know? I know exactly what I see. The presence of women in the Air Force, the presence of transgenders that I see on this fucking island is disgusting. I'm not even joking with you.
I've ran into a few of them here in Alaska too.
I have a question for you guys.
It's hard to deal with.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. Soonie, you said women in the military. Something that I know the Marine rapper has been very vocal about is about women who, get raped in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I often wonder, I know that there's also men too. I know there's also men, but I often wonder that if we didn't have women in the military, would we, or do we give them separate? Will we still have these issues of sexual harassment? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that let's say women had their own, like it was a separate thing, right? There's men over here, women over here, not in the same base, but do you think that we'll still have problems of sexual harassment with same sex, or do you think that it'll be a lot lower and just be rare cases?
It's going to happen even more because
No,
I think they can get away with a lot.
Yeah, there's more of them coming in than leaving, so it would just replace what's already there.
A flood of eggs.
Yeah. So I don't think it would change because that's human behavior. That's a human mindset, and that mindset is permeating through society. So it doesn't matter if you swap the genders. That
make it worse.
morality is gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So that sums up the state of the military, Julius. There's your answer for your question.
Well, you got like I said, if we would go to war still today, we'd win. It's what we do. I just think a lot of people would change their ways and views of how things are, because if we went into actual battle and some of these people had to go do it, leadership's going to call them to action, and they're going to not go to action, and they're going to be like, shit, maybe we should have got rid of all the good people and didn't.
Okay, so that's the question I want to ask you. He said that we'll win. Do you think we'll win even though we have a decline of masculinity?
Yes, we have enough. We have enough men that can handle it, and we'll still be able to take care of business. But
yeah, we have all the artillery. They don't.
Air Force. We own the skies in the Air Force. Ain't nobody dominant over us.
Oh.
Navy too, I believe, right? More or less.
To an extent, yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Grape is about control, not so much the act. If a grapist wants to grape, she will.
Oh, absolutely.
She said she will.
If they're a predator, they're going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
She will. Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
We'll get our asses handed to us one good time, and then we'll turn it around. Now, listen, America, defensive-wise, is a very strong country. I don't think people understand. It's a very strong country. Our country spends a lot of money on that part of the military, more so than healthcare in the VA. So all the money that people bitch about, why is all that money going there? To keep your ass safe. That's why it's going there. You should put the majority of the money into that to make sure you have a defense system.
Yep.
You know what makes me nervous though is a freaking Chinese spy balloon managed to infiltrate NORAD. Like all this money, it just makes it's like, and I know that was a setup or something to some extent, but like the leadership is doing not very comforting.
Well, you know, it is fear porn, and you got to think of it this way: China's already spying on us. That balloon didn't do anything extra that they're not already doing.
No, I think it was a setup. I think that China probably got framed for it. They're probably trying to go to war with China or something because that's stupid.
It would be a dumb idea to.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd, and it wouldn't get through NORAD. It's a giant balloon, and they have a radar. You're not penetrating this country like that.
Yeah, no, it'd be dumb to declare war with China.
Think about this: when Trump was in office, what foreign wars did we hear of on the news?
He got us out of pretty much most all of them. Right?
I was going to say the only ones that were still going on. Other than that, no new ones were started.
When Obama was in office,
I'm still here.
When Obama was in office, how many wars did we see on TV?
A bunch that he started, yeah.
When Bush was in office, how many wars did we see on TV?
A bunch that he started.
It's money. It ain't got nothing to do with it's money.
Yep.
The military industrial complex runs this bitch, okay?
Yes.
They're at the helm of this stuff. It's money.
Yep.
Have you guys seen that video? I don't know if it's old or new or how recent, but it's a video of, I believe it's George Bush, and he's talking about Russia and the war with Ukraine, but he slips up and says Iraq instead. Have you guys seen that?
Fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it is an old video then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. It's like, and people just laughed at it too. They're just like, huh, 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 huh. I'd be like, hold up, y'all. Y'all need to stop laughing. I got questions, sir.
You would think that there'd be a follow-up question for that for sure.
Yeah.
They want to live in the Matrix, man. They took the blue pill. They don't want the red pill. That's what most of these people.
Oh, snap.
So question for the audience then. Why do you think people avoid the truth? Like, aside from just this red pill, let's talk about truth pill, where you tell the truth regardless of who it hurts because it's the truth. So
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, like, why do you think that there are people out there who, you know, and you're not telling them the truth to be like a gotcha or like, look at this dumb libtard. Like, no, you're being 100% honest because you research, you read, you listen to the actual opposition, what they're saying, and you tell your friends or family, whoever the case may be, and they avoid it like it's the plague. Why do you guys think that is?
I've told Soonie this before, but and you can see it everywhere. I think everybody's gotten comfortable with lies.
Comforting lies. Yeah.
As soon as you bring out the truth, they get uncomfortable.
They want comforting lies over hard truth. I would always rather a hard truth over a comforting lie. Always. But most people don't, it seems.
They want the simple life over taking the hard way to get what you need in life.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's like I said earlier, accountability and self-reflection is true freedom. And that's a lot for people to take on. It's a huge responsibility because you're openly admitting if this fails, it's me. Right? So if you know the truth and you ultimately still fail, you still don't measure up. The responsibility of being like, I didn't make it because of me. Most people don't want to do that. They want to have something to blame. Just like women, we don't like accountability. We like shared accountability. Like, fine, I'll say sorry if you say sorry for making me do this, right?
Wow. Louder for the folks in the
back. That's how I think of it.
Amazing.
I've been there before. I'll tell you that.
Story of my life, Julius.
I'm sure.
Well, what did you do? I'm like, I need something because I'm busy. Well, I was just, I'm like, why don't we do together?
Exactly.
I got to take this inside. It's starting to rain.
Oh, snap.
Awesome,
it
man.
rained all weekend. It sucked. All weekend it rained.
Gorgeous here.
What if you mind me asking, Birdman, what state are you in?
Alaska.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I totally forgot. Interesting. Is Alaska, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember watching this movie and I heard the information in the movie. Is Alaska the state where like you guys get more nighttime than daytime? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah. So during the winter solstice, which is December 21st, we get like 3 hours at the most for daylight. Summer solstice is coming up next month, and we'll have like only like 2.5, 3 hours of darkness. It'll be light for most of the time. We usually have a golf tournament that weekend, and we're golfing till like 1 a.m.
Jeez.
Interesting.
So
that's wild.
But if you go further up north, see, I'm down in Anchorage, the very almost about as southern as you can get. You go up north, they have, the movie 30 Days a Night, like.
That's why I was asking. Yeah, that's why I was asking about that. That's so funny.
So they do have that, and they have these giant lights that have to light up the whole town for their daylight.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good movie too, by the way. 30 days.
Yeah.
Good movie.
That sounds pretty cool, though. I'm trying to get stationed in Alaska Air
Yeah.
Force.
That's what we're saying. I don't know if you know her, Soonie. I think you do, but you remember Nisi?
Yeah, she's in Alaska.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in a long time. She's super cool.
I just followed her again. I totally forgot. Totally forgot.
Yeah.
Bro, I just talked to her. She made a clip for me and Layla for the propaganda culture thing real recently. Be right back.
I did see
Nice.
she made that.
Yeah,
see that.
I just heard fireworks outside. I was looking to see if I could see them with the camera, but no. But people are celebrating Memorial Day.
Nice.
Good.
I
Because
know.
it's a day off, bro. It's a day off.
I know, right?
Ask these people, hey, what's going on with veterans? And see what they
Hey,
say.
I did want to make a comment on this weekend. I know a lot of people, you guys included, and it's appreciated. We, thanking us for what we do and stuff, but we can't forget what this weekend is about. It's 100% about those that we lost. We have another day for us, Veterans Day, and that's when, you should really be thanking them instead of that. I mean, you can do it either way. I just don't want people forgetting what it's truly about.
Yeah, that's why I wanted my tweets to kind of focus on. That's why I didn't post much on Instagram today. I just didn't post much because I wanted to focus on what this weekend really, and especially tomorrow is all about. I just think even for me, I feel guilty not even talking about it as much. And I just think it's important because again, my dad was military. I got a brother in the military. My grandpa's in the military. I almost went, but I had a decision to make, and I chose to stay here. And I mean, it was a hard decision because I wanted to go to the military, but a lot going on. But nonetheless, I think it's important to recognize that. And to see people kind of fighting on Twitter about, I get it. Target, Bud Light, I get all of that. Trump, DeSantis, I get all of that. But we're not talking about. I mean, we just forgot about the 13 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of went under the rug, and I'm like, we can't forget that. We got to keep reminding people that this is what Biden did.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Soonie got a question for Birdman. If someone wants to ask,
yeah, I do. It's centered around legislation in this topic because I feel like most of us, it's a small minority of us that kind of get overlooked when it comes to legislation being passed. So, what type of legislation do you think Republican candidates need to run on to really capture the military's vote? Or what do you find important?
Great question.
For the military's vote?
Yeah.
That is a good question. There'd have to be a lot of changes, but as far as legislation for the military,
And it can be veterans
hard.
too.
Yeah, I think it'd be more focused on that, and we would definitely need to focus some of that money. Our defense is good, like you said, but we really need to take care of the veterans for sure.
So the VA and all that.
Something needs to be done about that. They talk about it all the time, but nobody ever does anything.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked, is because they always run on, we're going to do more for our veterans. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever heard proper legislation being explained as to how they're going to do this. How do you reallocate funds? How do you get around the bureaucratic BS? How do you get around 6 months to a year waiting for any sort of, even the smallest referral? You need an MRI. You're going to wait forever. I want to see more candidates talk about that and how they're going to fix that. The VA.
Right.
What's going to go down with that?
I mean, I've had 2 MRIs just being active duty, and that's just because I'm active duty. That's why I got it. I can't imagine how it would have been outside being retired and done. How long I would have had to wait for that.
Imagine.
Yeah.
It's the solutions. What's up, Liddell?
Yeah. No, we definitely. That would be the main focus, in my opinion. We're well taken care of active duty wise. I don't think we need to change much.
Mm-hmm.
It's when we get out is when things need to change.
Okay, we both agree then. I think that's how you capture a good portion of military members as well, is talking about veteran affairs and how you're going to fix these things and the mental health condition in this country and actually doing something about it, not just shunning people away and putting them on all sorts of medications to where they're Like they're substituting their medication with alcohol anyway. I can't tell you how many people I've seen do that. It's dangerous, bro. It's a dangerous game, and there's no real help because no politician is running on much of anything. That's what I'm looking at when it comes to Trump. What are you doing for veterans, buddy?
Yeah.
Has he proposed anything? Is he going to do? Has he said he's going to do anything, or because he's come up with a couple of big, like, innovative proposals I've heard lately, but I've not yet heard about veterans.
Yeah, I haven't heard him say anything. I mean, aside from when he always says, "We love our military, we love our guys. I mean, in the service," but he doesn't have like a plan where he's like, "I'm going to have the military bomb the crap." I don't hear him like talk like that, so I have no idea.
Yeah, he does have an emergency.
I mean, he talked about it obviously during his first campaign and in his presidency. I think some things were changed, and they did help a little bit. But obviously that all went to shit. COVID came around and ruined everything. And then it just went back to the regular crap when Biden took over. So kind of reversed things he was starting to do good for us.
Yeah, that's one thing. Trump did a lot of good in this country. He did. Trump did a lot of amazing things. Can't take that away from him. I just hope to see him run on the things that actually matter going forward. Although I will not be giving my vote, I'm still going to encourage people to vote for him because he's the best option for this country. He's the best option. I don't know what else people are going to do.
Soonie, before we roll out of here, are you wanting to bring up, speaking of voting, where you're casting your vote, do you want to bring up your new campaign you've been thinking about lately?
Trying to get me in trouble.
All of us, but it's in the last 5 minutes. I figured, what the heck, if it gets canceled now, we got through the show.
So I have a new initiative going on. All right, we started Repeal the 19th, and that gained a lot of traction. So now we're going to start repealing niggas voting. All right, listen.
Repeal the black vote?
No, not black. I'm black. Okay, but I'm not a nigga. There's a difference. They don't need to vote. We need for them to take 3 election cycles off. Just take a break, sit down, go home. Because if they don't vote, Democrats don't win. So women and niggas, they're like right here. Your vote is determining a lot in this country. And because you're not using your vote the right way, I think you should just go ahead and take a break for 3 election cycles. And then let's come back and reevaluate. I don't see why not.
You know what's funny?
Hot take.
No, you know what's funny? So there's this comedian, right? I forget what his name is. But it was this black dude. He said this actually last year on his YouTube channel. He was talking about the fact that Joe Biden told black people that you ain't black if you don't vote for me. And he was like, what makes you tell me what my blackness is? And he wasn't trying to support Trump. He just saying like, what gives you the right to say that, right? So he said, I think we should just stop voting. Why not? And people that was in that crowd was like, okay. They were down with it.
Dude, ChatGPT agrees with me.
Find that video. If I find it, I'll send it to you for sure, so you can post about it on your page.
It would definitely make a statement for sure.
What do you mean ChatGPT agrees with you?
ChatGPT agreed. So before, and I did this live, before I had looked up anything on ChatGPT, it's right here. I was talking about all the benefits to blacks not voting if we just sat down. And I typed it in on ChatGPT, and every single reason I gave, ChatGPT gave. And I was like, see, even the liberals agree that your vote is very crucial. Wake up. Your vote is crucial. And if you didn't vote, you get to see how these people would govern going forward. How are they going to get your vote back once you start waking up saying your racism is not working? What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
I don't think this is ever going to happen. But like repeal the 19th.
Yeah, especially in California, because California, they rely, I mean, I've been to the Capitol so many times. They rely so much on gay, black, women of color. It's never white people. Never. I've been to the Capitol enough to know. I sat there for 8 hours one time. All they talk about is gays, blacks, and people of color. For 8 hours, I was like, y'all gonna bring up a white person? All right. Wave that gay flag, I guess. I was like, here's my American flag. Does this help?
I'm not trying
Yeah.
to get you beat up. I see Jackson in the comments section. He's trying to get us beat up.
Yeah.
I saw that
So I
too.
mean, but in California though, if we I think that's a conversation we should have. Rather than go door to door and talk about policy, the Republican, we should be like, hey, listen, my guy, don't vote. Just don't vote. I just tell all the people where I live at in the hood, like, hey, nigga.
Shh, don't vote, bro. Something needs to happen. Grassroots right now. You need to go to every hood. Listen, bro. We sitting out.
We boycotting.
3 election cycles. Don't nobody do nothing.
Bro,
Yeah.
voting's hella whack. What are you doing? You're going to vote? What?
Imagine if they that's gonna sound crazy to say, but imagine if they didn't get people of color to vote and they had to be compelled to convince the white people to vote to make them look super racist. Like, we need you people, and it turns to the crowds a bunch of that would be insane. I'm like,
That should be
Hey,
our movie.
it makes sense though, right? It makes
It does.
perfect sense.
Soonie once again is brilliant. It's just like I saw in your Repeal the 19th movement. I see the brilliance in it. This is like next level Repeal the 19th. If we thought that was bringing up some heat, this is gonna bring up some heat.
Yeah,
Well, like Soonie said earlier in her live, it's like it is the definition of insanity. You know, doing the same thing over, voting for the same people, and expecting a change, and nothing changes.
yeah.
Maybe make this move and make a change, and they'll realize, okay, now the people have the power.
exactly.
Yeah, because honestly, even here in California, right, there are people I would argue that do fight against Gavin Newsom. There really are. The problem is that on certain issues, they abstain rather than vote no. And abstain is usually just like they just don't vote at all. And to me, that shows who they really are versus just saying no. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's why I have a problem with the Republicans here in California, because they're not man enough or even women enough to just say no to a vote. They just abstain, because it's like, are you for it or are you against it? So it's hard to tell. So
Coward's way out. I'm with you. That's a coward's way out.
Yeah,
but that's the politician. That's the politician in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and it sucks, man. But that's the thing. There are people in California that really want to fight back. They're just they're so small minority that everybody overlooks them. Everybody overlooks them all the time. But they really are. I was telling something earlier about my friend. Even though she's not a politician, but she is a citizen, and they fight back against these bills. I mean, there's a bill right now in California where they're trying to kidnap your child. Let me explain real quick. It's AB 665. What they're trying to do is, if something is happening in your home, let's say your parents, didn't like the fact that you were trans, they will have counseling without parental consent. So your child can be removed from the home to go to the shelter in order to get the help to be accepted for who they are, kind of thing.
Without consent.
Yeah, and so that's essentially, I would argue, that's kidnapping, because they're trying to take your child away from the home without you even knowing, all because there's a disagreement. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what's happening here in this country, and I don't like that. I think if everybody stopped voting, maybe something could change. But then it's like, if everybody stopped voting, who would they end up voting for? Will it actually be selective at that point? Like,
Right.
will they select Biden again? Will they select Kamala again?
Statistically, no, they would never win again that side of the aisle. Like Soonie said.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're just getting it to a point in history where extreme things are just necessary, because the opposite side is going to the extreme. Existing in the middle is you're an accomplice, in my opinion. Like, you're a part of it and you don't say anything.
Yeah.
And then, because a lot of people say to me, like, when you challenge a lot of people on the right, okay, when is the fight kicking off? I don't know, when they come knocking on my front door. Like, you're gonna wait till it gets to the point of them knocking on your front door for you to do something. A lot of people are just complacent. They're compliant. they have the mantra of like comply, don't die, right? But then let's not comply and don't die with the government. Like pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Because it's very confusing.
It's
It
not
has to be
respectable.
extreme. You have to present something extreme, attach propaganda behind it, and push it. That's exactly what the left does.
Yeah, that's
I
why.
respect. Go ahead, George.
Oh no, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
No.
I respect somebody that's, even if they're evilly driven or whatever, like let's say some extremists on the far side of the aisle, I can almost respect them more than somebody lukewarm in the middle who ain't doing nothing either way, because at least they're convicted and they're passionate and they're outright about it. And I'm like, I can work with an evil person outright, but somebody who's in the middle that can just be pushed either way by anything, no respect there.
Exactly.
I
Snakes
agree
in the
though.
grass.
But the left is blatant on what they do. Like it's so blatant now. They just say out in the open now. Like they tell you what they're gonna do. Like we're gonna take your kid. We're gonna pass this bill, and then the right is like, yeah, I'm gonna work.
We'll see if you can do that. We'll just see about that, buddy. Without doing nothing.
Right.
That's why. Look, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I get the whole boycotting Target things like that. I don't know. I just think like it's a waste of time.
Listen.
It works to an extent.
I think it's a waste of time.
It works to an extent.
Boycotting Target does nothing. They are adhering to people above them. Vanguard, BlackRock. They all have to check off these SDG. 17 sustainable development goal, SGDs.
And then
which is the full economic form, right?
Gender equality, okay? Gender equality and gender identity is number 6 on the list. Go look at it. Racism is number 1, I think. They have a bunch of different developmental goals that have to be met. These people aren't doing this because they support homos.
Yeah.
Just wake up for 2 seconds and understand why things are going the way they're going and fight. They don't support homos, man. Republicans don't really support homos. It's just what's helping them win. They feel like this is the only thing that will help them relate to culture. But we spend so much time, oh my God, look at this. Do you really think Bud Light supports homosexuality, bro? Like, let's just be real with it. Please,
can we just be real with it?
After putting Dylan Mulvaney, now it's Bud Light. Now you got to turn into Butt Light.
Butt Light.
I'm just saying. So.
I can't believe nobody thought of that. Brilliant.
Butt Light. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm that smart. I really don't. I feel like I'm an average person with an average understanding, and I'm finding things that people who are, I guess, somewhat my contemporary, but up here, right, allegedly superior in intellect, that can't even grasp these basic concepts of it's a distraction, it's for money. What do we need to actually fix? Yeah. It bothers me when I see Candace constantly react to this shit. You are supposed to understand what you're doing. Like, you're promoting this. Don't tell me you're different from the left and you only support a specific type of gay person when I just seen her highlight another homo. I'm like, bro, why are y'all talking about this? Who cares?
This might be a hot take again, but is it fair to say that Candace might be a part of,
if I say that, I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm shutting up.
Part of what?
I mean, I'm just saying, I think
he scratches it.
A part of what, Julius?
I think Candace is, let's just say that her pockets are getting filled too.
Damn.
It could be so. She's too smart to overlook some of the major, the major strings here that tie it all together. I have a hard time with somebody that's that smart, kind of missing some of the big things that they do.
I mean,
especially.
I think it's interesting to me how, you can tell who their strings are being pulled by, because when you have people like Daily Wire and Turning Point USA, which I was about to get a job with them, but when you have them criticize you because you can't talk about certain people, that tells you who they're controlled by. And I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy. It's just a fact. If Charlie Kirk is going to call you anti-Semitic because you criticize Israel, that tells you exactly who they're in line with. And same thing with Daily Wire. I mean, it's PragerU, same thing. So it's
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate their correspondence. I do like the Will Wits of the world. I appreciate them a lot. But if you can't even talk about the fact that Israel is punishing people for preaching the gospel, and then they call you anti-Semitic because of it, that's something. And the right's not talking about that, or the fact that Trump passed an executive order to where you can't get federal funding because if you talk about Jewish people, that's a big deal. That's like flies in the face of the First Amendment. But nobody on the right wants to talk about that, though. So
No, you don't. You know what else the right doesn't want to talk about? You ready? Get ready for this on Tuesday, you guys. I'm going to be putting out a video tonight. Richard Grinnell went on Dave Rubin about 2 years ago and said he was a great Christian because he was gay. But the more sinister part of this video, and I'm going to post it, is him literally bragging about buying a LGBTQ friendly shirt from Target, okay? And then watching 0% of mainstream conservatives say nothing. Nothing. Candace just did a video talking about boycotting Target. Why are you guys ignoring what this population of homosexuals on the right are doing? I'm gonna leave
Good
it
question.
there.
That's why
Tune
I
in on
fuck the right
Tuesday.
too.
So let me understand this correctly. So Richard Grinnell bought a T-shirt.
Can I premiere it on here? I just did this video. I've been waiting to drop
Yeah.
this.
Hell yeah.
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
You guys can talk while I get it together.
Okay. Do I? Are you gonna send it to me? Like, you got to share, or are you gonna share it from your end?
Now I'm gonna pull the video up and share it from my end.
Okay. Real quick too, I want to say appreciate you guys. We'll show this video and then we'll kind of talk briefly about it and then we'll wrap it up after that. But I want to appreciate all you guys for being here. Thank you guys for engaging with us, for commenting with us. We always appreciate you guys engaging with us. Do hit that like button if you haven't already. And if you're not subscribed or if you're watching this, I'm speaking to the audience where this might pop up in your recommendation. Hit that subscribe button and check us out. We got fantastic conversations. We bring on guests to the show. It's really great stuff. So we appreciate you guys. Again, like that video, share this out. It's good stuff. Okay, let me add this to the stream.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Be casual. I know your crowd is pretty casual.
My crowd is casual. I feel like I should be wearing. I have that same UGG hoodie. I should be stopped right now.
But do you have the same
I don't have
T-shirt?
the gay mustache T-shirt.
available at Target?
Is that a Target?
Yeah, it's Target.
You truly are a man of the people.
Yeah.
All right, we got a lot to talk.
Okay.
Mm.
When I get called out for being consistent, and none of these influencers get called out for letting this stuff slide, I got a problem. You're telling people to boycott Target, but you're not telling people to boycott alleged politicians. I'm getting worked up, bro. This stuff irritates me. Politicians aligning themselves with LGBTQ special interest groups. I can't take this movement serious.
How long ago was that interview? Is that recent?
This was 2 years ago. Every year during Pride Month, I release that video. It's just serendipitous that it's never ending, and it's a treat that it's a gift that keeps on giving because they're now back to boycotting Target. This is on. Do you not see that this whole political spectrum is on repeat? Do you remember when they boycotted Target last year? Do you guys remember that?
So there's honestly, I don't really remember them boycotting Target last year. I don't remember, not as much as they did now, but there's a theory going around, Soonie, where the reason why people are boycotting like now is because it's an election cycle, and so they
For
want
sure.
to they want to boycott to wake people up so they can get people on their side. Not the politicians so much, but the people, that want to get the votes for like the GOPs, whatever. They do this stuff to boycott, and then say, "Oh my God, this is so bad! Can't you see it's all demonic?" And then try to like convince people that these companies are bad and they're selling things for they're targeting children. So when it comes time to next year, now all the people that saw how bad things were can start joining the right side. So
Oh yeah, they're going to do something about it. They were saying they were going to do something a while ago, so I'm going to vote for them.
Well, and that's the thing too. I think with Soonie saying that they're boycotting Target for the gay stuff, but then I know I saw on IG fam she put on there like, but they support Lady Maga and Blair White and all those people that are on that side that you're boycotting.
yeah, because the argument is always, I don't care what you do, just don't push it to children. I get that, but I think it's a slippery slope because my thing is I wouldn't say I don't care what you do, don't push it to children. I mean, look, you are an adult, you do what you want. But when you start to compel me to call you something that I know you're not, and you want to pass legislation that affects adults and children, I got a problem with that. A big problem with that. It's always a slippery slope.
If you're
Again,
gonna,
people are going to do what they do and they're adults, but it's a slippery slope because it's like now if I walk past you and then you expect me to call you something that I know you're not, I'm not going to do it. I'm not caving to you. I'm not going to lie to you and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." The
Whatever you want.
You know what I mean? Weird noises like that, whatever the case may be. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to say, no, you are a man who is pretending to be a woman. That's just what it is. YouTube could ban this channel. It would suck, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie.
Wouldn't be
I
the
think
first time, won't be the last.
I think if you're gonna boycott it all, you should boycott it all, both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
Don't pick and choose. Then
And they
it
have been
makes
doing
you
this
look
forever
weak.
too. Yeah, they have been doing this. Like, I mean, I would argue in recent years they've been doing this. I didn't see Target do this back in 2018, 2017, 2016. I didn't see it.
I'm
But I know
so
now,
upset I lost my Facebook. I had everything on that Facebook, bro.
When did that happen?
Everything.
I remember
wait, you
following
lost
that.
Facebook recently?
I lost everything. I lost my Instagram and my Facebook.
Whoa, that's crazy.
But you can go back in your
Wow.
timeline and I would just have to type in a word because I covered all this. Dude, people were boycotting Target last year, the year before that. Now, they didn't have all the gender affirming clothes that they have now, where they have the training bras. I think all that stuff started last year sometime. But they've
Yeah.
been doing the same thing on fucking repeat while ignoring the same element within our party in the
Yeah.
movement. Like, it's just weird. And what bothers me is people will come left at Bryson, but won't say nothing to these big conservatives with mainstream platforms. I'm
Because
gonna keep calling a spade a spade. Y'all scared.
yeah, I honestly think, and I know I mentioned like Candace, but I think they're all in the same tent. I hate to say it, but the Brennans, the Candaces, the DC Dranos, they're all in the same tent. They all want to go to Mar-a-Lago. They all want to be in Trump's house, shaking his hand. They won't go to Trump and say, "Hey, Trump, I think Operation Warp Speed wasn't a good thing." They won't go to him and say that. They'll just be like, "Oh, Trump, we love you, man. Make this country great, brother." And it's like, you know what I mean? You gotta push back on them, dude. Like, I'm not gonna. Somebody told me on Twitter the other day, they said it's Trump or nothing. I was like, how can you live like that? It's Trump or nothing? I mean, that's like a cult at that point. Like Trump or like your life doesn't matter, so it's Trump or nothing. How about it's God or nothing?
Your life doesn't matter.
No, their lives don't matter. They're
it's
waste,
so
bro.
crazy. They said it's Trump or nothing. I must have fell back. Like I was just like, what do you mean it's Trump or nothing, bro? What happened to God? Remember God?
It's Q-tards and Colt 45ers. Right? That's what those people fall under.
Yeah, it's wild.
So, you want to wrap it up, man? You got any closing
Yeah, I was
thoughts?
actually going to say. So we are going to wrap the show. I just want to get these last couple comments. Just going to showcase these comments. I want to wrap it up. First of all, I want to say a big, huge thank you to Soonie and Birdman for coming on to the show. Really appreciate having you guys. I always say, I tell people this when I talk to them behind the scenes. I always say that when Nick and I started this show, this podcast out, I'm going to take a huge accountability in that it was, I was excited and I was kind of hitting like the Myron talking points. You know what I mean? It was fun. I was like, oh man, I know all this stuff. So it's cool. But then I was like, nah, me and Nick got to be more cordial. And I think this podcast has to really mean something. We got to start bringing value. So bringing on people like a Soonie or even, Birdman, or even with Angela or my friend Amy, having those conversations, I think it opens the door to make this podcast a lot more valuable and interesting versus just being like, get some bimbos on here or like, yeah, OnlyFans, huh? OnlyFans? No man, people are OnlyFans. Like, yeah, I get that, and no man wants that. But at the same time, it's like that shouldn't be a show because we'll just be like everybody else. So.
Yeah.
We want to be different. It's called Age of Men. We want men to just go back to being men and stop bowing down to the government. Stop bowing down to the woman. Stop bowing down to man himself and get back to God.
Thanks.
So Soonie, did you have any words you want to say to the people? Where can they find you? Where can they watch your content? All that stuff.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the conversation. I hope this does well. You guys can find me on Instagram. You can just type in literally not Soonie. That's the easiest way to find me. If you want to watch me on YouTube, just type in somewhere in the middle USA. We're live Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern.
It's a dope show. They meet somewhere in the middle often. There's contention. There's laughs. What more could you ask for, folks?
It is a great live stream too. I enjoy it. I watched the whole thing. I'd be like, it's funny because like I'll just be chilling, like playing my room, the other things. I have it on a full blast, super loud, like all in the house. It's so I like watching live. It's good times.
Appreciate that.
Birdman, did you have anything you want to say? Where folks can follow you at, or any information you want to give, to your fellow soldiers or anything like that?
No, I mean I don't have anything to really plug. Just if people need help with anything, I'm always there. Reach out. There are people out there to help, and I am on Instagram. That's about it, really. So,
well, you said that you're volunteering, right? Where can folks in your area, if anybody is having to watch it just in Alaska, where can they go find you at the volunteer place, and how can they reach out to you to get that help?
Mainly, I just work in the main lobby helping veterans as they come in and just kind of escort them where they need to go. During COVID, I had helped escort them get their shots and stuff. I know I was really like against it and didn't like it, but it was their choice. I wasn't going to tell them not to do it. And I just kind of helped them with that stuff. I escort them to their appointments.
That's cool.
They have their own hospital off base, but there's a tunnel that connects them to the hospital on base. So a lot of times we got to take them through there, take them to the main hospital so they can get their appointments and stuff like that. So
excellent, man.
But yeah,
thank you again for everything you do and for the fallen that aren't as fortunate for me to be able to say that to them right now. Can't thank you enough, bro.
Yeah,
I appreciate this.
I think it's a great thing what you are doing too. We appreciate you and appreciate Sonia's husband. Appreciate all the people that fought and died for this country and are still serving for this country. We appreciate all you guys. Nick, did you have any last words that you want to say to the people?
No, man. I know some high notes when I hear them. These two, what a panel. Soonie's my girl, man. We've been tight forever. She will be she's like a sister to me. Where even if I'm gonna drive her nuts, like she's not getting rid of me. She knows that at this point. So same with you, Julius. You the man. What's your final thoughts? Anything? Wrap it up. Bring us home.
Honestly, man, just get back to God, and all will be well. Best I got.
Maybe.
So, God bless you guys. I always adapt to some anomaly, but all you guys watching, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We love when you guys chat with us. Deontay had a question, but that's a question we can get on for a different time. But appreciate you, Deontay, for coming into the chat, and all you guys. Again, like this video, share this video. If you want to be a guest on the show, hit the link down below. It's all there. You can DM us on Instagram and all that good stuff. If you have any questions, you can email myself and Nick. If you want to support the channel, it's all the links are down below, and follow us on all other social media platforms. It's all down below. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. On that note, we will see you guys again next Sunday. Make sure you guys are following Nick, Birdman, and myself, because I do go live on a daily. So appreciate you guys. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one, guys.